The glorious day is upon us. The gods have been kind. The first version, Alpha 0.10, is now available to the public for the Last Alliance mod for Shogun 2 Total War. If you have no idea what this mod is, it is a mod set in the second age of the Lord of the Rings, or of Middle-earth I should say, and it has a campaign, and you guys can play the campaign right now. So I'll leave a link down below in the description, but what I thought I'd do today is just dive in and take a look at everything that you guys can mess around with, and it's so goddamn exciting because Shogun 2 has so much to offer. Shogun 2 is the last really moddable Total War game. You can edit the custom campaign map, you can just edit so much different stuff that you just can't do from Rome 2 onwards. It basically just kind of this is the line, and Shogun 2 is a spectacular game. So yeah, that's really goddamn exciting. So right now there is just a prologue campaign, and basically what this campaign is here to kind of start as the beginning blocks of the grand campaign, which is obviously going to be Middle-earth and the wars between, the Last Alliance and Sauron, which will be very, very exciting. So right now, this is the fall of Numenor. It's set a couple hundred years before the grand campaign, and kind of is, before the great disaster of Numenor sinking and all of that. So basically the last legal king of Numenor has died, and his daughter Tarmarel is kind of the last legal ruler. However, the actual leader who comes back from Middle-earth so this is her cousin, comes back and forces her to marry, and that's what happens in the lore. He takes control and he is the last king of Numenor before the downfall. However, this campaign allows you to basically jump in and stop this from happening. You can play as any of the lords. I think there's 8 different factions you can play from, and they all have different units, and yeah, it's really exciting. So we'll take a look at that in a second, and obviously you can hear the awesome music in the background. I wanted to quickly take a look at the custom battles, because I wanted to show you guys some of the units that you have at your disposal. So obviously, as I said, every faction does have unique units at the moment. So, I mean, they all have very similar units, but every faction I know has a unique set of special units. Maybe it's only available in the campaign. Let me just change faction really quickly. How do I even work with Shogun 2? So it's like, let's just add a new faction. And then go to... Wait, how do I do this? Okay, so I figured out how to do it. I'm an idiot. So yeah, I know, for example, I know these guys definitely have a unique unit. They all do, but I don't know if you can do them in custom battles, because I don't know if it shows up. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's the guard unit. So I guess I don't have a thumbnail. So it'll probably be easy to show you guys in the actual campaign. So yeah, let's just load in. And yeah, definitely go over. So we'll play it. We'll quickly just jump into the campaign right here. So this is going to be a very much updated version from the one you've been seeing on the channel recently. I've done a few campaigns in the kind of really beta version of it. But do keep in mind, this is still, the first available version. It's a very small mod team. Sarah is the person who does most of the modding. And then they're supported by, a couple people doing, some really awesome stuff in the campaign itself, which is very, very exciting. And you can see that's Middle-earth right there, kind of blocked out but not yet playable. And yeah, here you go. Here is Numenor, which is so goddamn exciting. You have your main army right here, some really awesome looking cities. So I think, yeah, as I said, so this is still very much a work in progress. You might run into bugs, you might run into crashes, glitches, stuff might not be fully completed yet in Numenor. So what I'd recommend you do if you run into anything like that, go over to the Discord, go over to the ModDB and let them know, help them out. And if you have any, specialties in modding for Shogun 2, maybe you can lend your services to them as well. So obviously, as you can see, Numenor is right here, and I love Shogun 2, man. Numenor right there. The island is, yeah, looking very potent. Lots of fortresses. I mean, if we take a look, we just move this army really quickly, like so, over here. You can see, there's a lot of cities here, a lot of dangerous cities, and you can see our army set up very nicely. And we'll jump into a battle as well, so you guys can see all these units if you haven't already. You even have a fleet as well. Something to mention as well is that there's all new custom buildings. Well, first off, it has the Attila UI with a really nice marble overlay. So you kind of, the game doesn't feel 9 or 10 years old, however old Shogun 2 is, because you have a new UI almost in it, a much more up-to-date UI, which again looks great. And the Shogun 2 graphics are still to this day very, very, decent, especially on ultra settings. I've got a reshader on, which just kind of adds that little flavor. and the game definitely does not look as old as maybe you may think it is. So yeah, you have a ton of new buildings you can check out right here. Absolute buttload, all of these doing different stuff. And this is just going to be the simple level of detail that's going to be going into every single faction. Obviously, you know, right now we only have one culture, you only have the Numenorians, but obviously the next project after finishing up this part of the Prologue campaign is going to be adding in Middle-earth, which is, I think her plan, or their plan, sorry, is to add in, like, the coast of Umber first. So it'll be Numenor, the coast of Umber, and then add in the rest of Middle-earth. Because if you go north, you can see, like, right here, you know, obviously Minas Tirith is, like, here. Minas Tirith is, like, around here. Oziliath, you've got Oziliath's, like, here. Coandros right there. Obviously the Elf, the Misty Mountains, like, you know, you can see Middle-earth being blocked out. It's just not been developed, you know, obviously quite yet. So we'll go back to Numenor right now. So all of that stuff is going to be added, which again is just, yeah, so exciting to see this mod get developed. Because again, multiplayer campaigns is a thing in this mod. You've got drop-in battles, so you can do streams where, or I can do streams where you guys just jump in and play as the AI for me. Like, that's really exciting. So one of the things, I guess we can take a look at that when we jump into a battle actually. So yeah, loads of new buildings have been added, which is really good. There's custom units, as I said, for every single faction. I think they have 1 or 2 specific units and then the same thing. But obviously, you know, this is a prologue campaign. In the grand campaign, you won't be running into the same culture groups. So, you know, every faction will feel really unique. And that, you know, does mean that, like, every faction is going to have a good amount of units. Stuff like this, if, like, the soldiers speak in Japanese, you know, that's obviously going to be worked out. The more and more the mod does get developed. But let's jump into a battle so we can see some of the awesome units. And some of the, like, biggest things in this mod, and something that a lot of people, you know, I mention this every single time, but it is definitely worth mentioning, is that the, you know, Shogun 2 doesn't have any shields in it at all. Not small shields, not large shields, nothing. And that means that it has no shield animations in it, so the modders can't just, you know, use a pre-existing stuff. They have to create everything themselves. So in the mod, they've created custom shield animations. They've created, obviously, you know, custom shields. The interaction between, you know, sword and shield, spear and shield, spear shield versus spear shield, archers, formations, and all that stuff. So they've really gone pretty above when it does come to the you know, the animations and the fighting. Okay, so we're in the battle now. We can take a look at some of the awesome looking units. And again, this faction actually looks very unique because in the lore, he came back from Middle-earth. So he's bringing a very different kind of look of army back with him to Numenor. So yeah, so for example, I think these guys might look quite similar to what we're used to seeing in the rest of the factions. And obviously every faction has their own different color and unique coat of arms on all the armor and stuff. So they'll look different enough that it's not really like you're playing the same thing. And again, Shogun 2 basically is that anyway, right? So these are going to be some of the swordsmen. Looking just absolutely amazing. Look at this guy. He's an angry boy ready for battle. So that's going to be the swordsman. We'll take a look at some of the spearmen. There's a big clump of them right here. Yeah, and these guys are going to have different armor. So as you can see, these guys look a lot more like Imperial from the units we're going to see in a second. Actually, I can probably click start battle. We can take a look at them in a second. So yeah, these guys look very different. They've got, you know, very unique armor. I love this kind of like Roman-esque kind of Imperial look. That looks amazing. This is actually one of the newer models I haven't seen before. And yeah, this looks absolutely great. It looks like very Roman, but also kind of like medieval at the same time. So that's awesome. We'll take a look at some of the more units as well. Obviously, we have the bowmen over here. And also, you may notice as well by listening, you got the sounds from Battle for Middle-earth as well, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, some bowmen right here. Then we have the militia bowmen. So these are just like the colonial units. Let's go! I forgot I clicked play battle. So yeah, these guys are going to move up. Looking nice. And then we have the unique unit right here. So this is the general unit. This is unique solely to this faction. And again, so it's like a unit of pikemen. Very, very cool. And you can form like a pike wall and stuff like that, which looks very cool with the shields. This unit, yeah, it's definitely really nice and unique. There's nothing like it in the rest of the Numenor factions. So that's obviously very, very cool indeed. And then we just have some cavalry units again. You know, cavalry with shields. It's not something you really see, and I Again, love the flags on the weapons. I mean, cool. So one of the things I really do want to mention is, obviously, right now you're looking at a Shogun 2 fortress. This is something that they plan on changing. It's just, you know, they only have so many, you know, members of the team. They only have so many hours in the day. So eventually all of this, you know, this will look like or what their interpretation of a Numenorian fortress will look like. They'll change the buildings and they'll make it look very, very different. And yeah, it'll be very interesting to see that. So this is one of the other factions, and you can see, obviously, straight away, completely different look to them. They've still got, you know, similar armor, but the coat of arms and the color of them are completely different. You got more guys right here, and I know they do have some. They have their. I think these might be unique to them, but I'm not 100% sure. So they have this kind of like buckler shield-esque arch unit, which is pretty good in melee. They're kind of wielding a lot more plate, and they don't have like fish scale armor on them whatsoever. And then I know they have a really cool unit. I don't know if we can see it. Their general unit. That's one. Yeah, so this unit right here. Actually, just pause it really quickly. Look how dope they look. Really nice. Like, they look like kind of like, you know, early Gondorians, which is, you know, basically what they are. So like, yeah, really cool stuff. You know, yeah, very, very cool. Arnorian, like, esque looking units of Numenor. So yeah, really, really dope stuff. And obviously, you know, every faction does have their unique style to them, even if they are the same culture, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, guys, we can probably just end the video here. I don't want to go rant too much. I've already been rambling quite a lot, but you can just see some of the cool stuff right here. So yeah, go check out the game right now. You can, yeah, you can mess around with it. You can play the campaign, do a head-to-head with some friends. I highly, highly recommend it. If you run into any bugs, do help out and, you know, join the link in the description. If you want to get beta versions as well, I think they have a Patreon you can check out. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, and fish out.